Today, we're going to talk about your affair partner telling his wife about the affair and then cutting all contact or blocking you completely. I hear about these situations a lot, and it's so painful. It's so painful. Often, what I hear is women have invested so much time into this relationship, thinking that it is actually going somewhere and can even invest years in the relationship. And then what happens is the wife finds out, and then suddenly it's like he doesn't exist. And often in these situations, because he's cut all contact, it can feel like, what was this relationship? Like, it can feel like, was this a figment of my imagination? Did it ever go on? Did he ever fully like me? Did he see this experience the same way that I did? And that processing can be really painful. And the reality is, him being able to, what it feels like, discard you in such a quick, harsh way doesn't necessarily mean that there was no care, no love, and extreme connection that you felt in the situation. Sorry, in your relationship dynamic. However, there are reasons why a man will suddenly block you and go no contact and maybe not have any explanation for it. And this is deeply painful, but today we're going to go into why he may have showed up in the way that he showed up. Firstly, this is an extremely emotionally confronting topic. And so, if his wife's just found out, often there is an overwhelming sense of emotion and really an inability of knowing how to handle this. And part of just blocking things is a way of trying to get a grip on everything that is going on, clean up whatever is going on so that he doesn't have to face the shame, the guilt that he feels for the situation. Now, is this the best way to approach it? Maybe not. However, there is an overwhelming sense of emotion that is going on. And when we don't know how to handle such situations, and often we don't have the help or the support to know how to handle such situations, then the impact can feel really harsh. On top of this, and this can lead into the next one, is he may genuinely want to stay in his marriage. And so by blocking you and doing these, what feels like harsh, sudden things, is him validating his commitment to his wife and really doing what needs to be done in order to save that marriage. The next one is that he may be feeling pressure from the wife. Obviously, the wife, when she finds out about this situation, is going to feel a whole host of emotions. And so he's dealing with one, the emotions of where is this going with you, and also dealing with the impact of the emotions of his actions with his wife and feeling really guilty about that. And so he the emotions of the wife can be obviously so quite extreme emotions. And so he may not know how to hold her in all the emotions that he's feeling. And while seeing her face all these emotions, his desire is just to settle her in everything that she's feeling and do what needs to be done in order to move things forward. I'm not even going to say move things forward, in order to just essentially try to stop everything that is happening. The next is he could be afraid of legal or financial consequences. Now, in these situations, he may want to actually have a future with you. And however, he still needs to go through the process of getting a divorce, of cleaning his own life up. And if he doesn't do this in a way that is clean, tidy, then obviously he's going to face further consequences for his actions. And so he may just want to do what needs to be done in sorting this life out, cutting the ties with you, this affair, and doing what needs to be done so he doesn't face consequences financially or with losing the kids and all of that. And often in these situations, there can be definitely the possibility of losing kids and significant financial consequences. And so his actions can be coming from protecting himself in this way. The next is he's really fearing confrontation. And this confrontation can be from you and it can also be from the wife. Obviously, there is significant emotions going on both in both sides of from both women going on here. And so he may fear having to either let you down and not wanting to have that conversation and fearing upsetting you. Now, again, this isn't to say that this is the right way to handle it. And there, it really, every situation is so different on how to best handle it. However, we're speaking from emotions right now. And when we don't have the capacity to know how to handle it, then we act in ways that may have, yes, hurt you absolutely. However, when we don't have the emotional capability, then we act in ways that can be painful to another. We've talked about the impact of these overwhelming emotions. And when we are facing such a significant event, often your affair partner may act from a place of extreme panic. He doesn't know how to handle this situation. It's probably not a situation he's moved through before. And if it has, then that can also add a whole nother layer of panic to the and shame and blame and self-judgment to the equation. If he suddenly just erased you from his life, then this can also be because he has this overwhelming situation that has come out in the light and he doesn't know how to deal with it. And so he's just shutting you out completely as a way to not. Now, here's the thing here. We often think when we're in this situation, if you are the other woman and you have been shut out, you think, well, how could someone do this to me if he deeply cared about me, loved me? How could he just shut me out like that? And what's probably happening here is there's a compartmentalization where he's just trying to handle his current life in his primary home. Essentially, he's just putting out fires at the moment. And so he's doing what needs to be done in order to handle the emotion that is rising in the house. The next one is he no longer wants the affair. I'm really sorry if you're going through this situation because we feel stupid, we feel so much pain, we feel let down, we feel confused, we feel used, we feel all of these emotions. If he no longer wants the affair and he hasn't known how to communicate this, then it's really painful. And if you are going through this and he is committing to the marriage but hasn't communicated that to you and hasn't known how to communicate, then it is deeply upsetting to go through that situation. Now, coming from your affair partner's experience, he doesn't know how to face all these emotions. And because he doesn't have the tools to know how to communicate all of what is going on and to face all the emotions that are going on within you often and letting you down and having to voice all that and to have to voice all the conversations that will come up with letting you down and bringing that to light. He may not know how to handle that. And so he's just handled it in a way that is obviously painful to you. But this comes from his inability to really know how to handle such a significant situation. This also can be coming from a really significant boundary that he's setting with you. If this relationship has been a constant leaning in and leaning out from both people, he may not know how to end things for good because there is when things are ended, then lines between boundaries are blurred, and so he may not have the tools or capability to know how to properly end things with you and end things for good. And so he's just setting such a significant boundary where like it's just like cutting to conclusions really fast. Now, again, if we have the real tools and awareness of knowing how to navigate this situation, then smaller boundaries could have been put in place long before we got to this situation. However, we often don't get taught all of these things. And so when a situation just gets really messy and out of hand, then the only way to really start to clean things up is to set a really hard, significant boundary. Obviously, you're so significantly impacted by this. However, looking at from what he's doing, he's setting a boundary, again, that is really painful to you, but is communicating his moving forward. Also, he may be controlled or manipulated from his wife or not know how to handle his wife. And so his wife may be forcing him to block you or do certain things in order to honor their relationship. And he also may not have the tools or capability to know how to communicate with her and to move forward through that relationship. He may potentially, so he might want to be with you, but not know how to actually get himself out of that relationship. And so he could be in a really unhealthy situation there and be controlled or manipulated and not know how to get out of that. And so he's acting from a place of catering to her needs without knowing how to fully cater to his needs. And then with that, he would be catering to your needs as well. So if he's not sure on how to handle his wife, if she is also coming from an unhealthy place, then you're um, also impacted by those actions. And lastly, he's avoiding accountability. It's a lot easier to block someone and just delete them from your life than actually taking real accountability from the actions that he has taken. Accountability with having proper conversations with you, and also accountability with having proper conversations with his wife. And so, this easy, very punishing and painful way of just blocking someone out of your life can be a way of avoiding accountability. Now, what I do want to say here is that every affair situation is so different. I may have not mentioned some of the possibilities that went on in your affair situation and why he may have acted in the way that he did. And if you do not feel like some of the reasons were mentioned for you, then I do encourage you to reach out for, like, you can reach out to me for more support and we can look at your unique situation. I offer one-to-one private coaching, and I also have a support community of women that are in affair relationships. Unfortunately, these situations happen a lot where there is contact that has suddenly just ended like this and it's so painful. And then suddenly your affair partner is working on his marriage again and you feel betrayed. And you are betrayed in this because you haven't been held in the way that is safe, respectful to, if he does want to close things out, to close it out in a respectful way. These situations are messy. They have so much emotion in it. And so if you do want support through this, by all means, reach out and we can get you moving through this so that you can heal and move forward. I hope that helps. Bye for now.